about an hour before that shootout here in this book warehouse. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide and take care of business in here. Just wait and see. Oh, I got a bunch of ketchup I'm going to put on the ground and pretend it's blood so that clone Andy thinks Andy Prime is dead. We're going to take care of this, all right? Watch this. I'm going to go back into the past and I'm going to... Andy, no, wait. What? It's me from the future. Listen. You can't use that time machine. Wait now, it's going to ruin everything. Andy, don't listen to him. This is Andy from the farther future. You have to keep using the time. Help. Can you hear me out there? Please, call somebody. Do something. Andy kidnapped Andy. What am I... Help. Seriously. Help me. Can you help me? All right, students. So, probably got a lot of questions like, how can I keep myself in a cage and how is this all going to work out? And the truth is, I got my body back. What do I care? No big deal, right? Anyway, I guess we'll think about it and see what I got to do. I really don't know right now. We'll wait and see. What I do want to talk about today is our third essay coming up. And honestly, the truth is, I'm keeping him in a cage for you. I really like teaching this class. I don't want him to do it, you know. He is me, and I would still have the same memory, I know, and I already did teach this class, which means now is the second time, right? Paradox again, but anyway, I want to teach it again. And so anyway, the third essay is going to be a textual analysis of the short story, What You Pawn, I Will Redeem by Sherman Alexie. And I uploaded the text already. Hopefully you guys have been reading it a bit. It's a great story. But what I want to talk about today is not the story. I want to talk about the essay that you're going to write after reading the story. And so what is a textual analysis exactly? Well, textual analysis or a literary analysis, according to the paper in front of me, the purpose of this essay is to carefully examine and sometimes evaluate a work of literature or an aspect of a work of literature. So what you need to do is break the subject down into its component parts. You examine different elements and you see what you think or how you can interpret this. Now, the reason for this is that it's a process to help you appreciate or understand a written work, you know? And the way we want to do this is we can look at these things in a variety of ways. And so I want to explain what these ways are. Fortunately, I have my green board over here, right? There you are. Say hello. It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse in here. That's a 1980s reference for you young bloods. Okay, so what types of analysis do we have? Off the top of my head, I have a list of about 10 different things here that we're going to talk about. Just very briefly explain the ideas to kind of give you a taste that you can think about what you want to do. And then it's going to be your job to kind of research more into how you want to analyze this text. So, a quick list: political criticism, character analysis, close reading, comparison, binary oppositions, archetype criticism, cultural criticism, reader response, deconstruction. What do they all mean? That seems like a lot of options. Welcome to the Professor Lasher WAE 194 All You Can Eat Textual Analysis Buffet. Dig in. All right, so basically you got to pick one of these, right? You're not going to use all of them. It's a 3-page paper. We're going to choose one method that you like, and you're going to analyze the text using that method. So for political criticism, what does that mean? Obviously, we talk about politics, but what is that exactly? Well, for example, we could use Marxist theory. Marxist theory, of course, is the relationship between capital and labor, right? Money and work, of course, rich and poor, basically, right? Or we could do feminist theory. We know what feminist theory is generally, don't we? Good. It's about empowerment of women, or specifically when we read stuff this way, we see if it can be read in a feminist perspective, or perhaps opposite, we can see how it works against feminist ideals, you know? Okay, next, the character analysis. The character analysis is not describing the character and what he does. Remember, this is not a book report or a summary. To use the character analysis, we want to think about who the character is, why the character is doing what they are doing, what does it mean? So we can look at this through like a psychological or a philosophical lens. We can imagine Freud, you know, Sigmund Freud. Yeah, what would he say about the character? Or we can think about Nietzsche, Man and Superman. What would he say about the character? Lacan, you guys don't know Lacan, but yeah, basically he talks about the growth in the child phase and the law of the father. Not important for now, unless you're interested, in which case look it up. But that's a character analysis. We analyze a character using some sort of framework and technique that's pre-made by, you know, somebody that knows more than we do, obviously. The next part, we can do a close reading. For the close reading, we choose like a segment or a few segments from the story itself, and we explain them in great detail. The close reading cannot be done by itself because we still need a framework to analyze the text. So we do the close reading combined with the political criticism or the character analysis or something like that, or one of the other ones I'm going to show you soon. But instead of analyzing the whole text, we just pick one segment and then we analyze that. Okay, next, a comparison to another text. Pretty simple, isn't it? We compare What You Pawn I Will Redeem to, I don't know, another of Sherman Alexie's works. He has some really good poetry out there, you know, I love poetry. Or you could pick another text entirely that deals with Native American culture, or perhaps something about Korea even. You compare them, you look at what's similar, what's different, and what we want to know is what that means. What do we get out of that? Remember, we have to analyze and then we have to extract meaning from our analysis. Okay, binary oppositions. We look in the text. Binary oppositions mean two things that are opposites of each other. Does he use good and evil in some way? Or maybe as man and woman? I don't really believe that's a binary, but we could make it work. Black and white. And what does it mean in the text when he uses these clear contrasts? What we want to do with the binary opposition is we want to look at maybe how he undermines this opposition. I've been reading Moby Dick recently, you know, the book about the whale. And Moby Dick, the whale, is an evil creature, or possibly an evil creature, right? But it's white. Why is that? White represents innocence. And yet, the whale is white. So what does that say exactly? Okay, archetypical criticism. An archetype is an ideal framework or someone, the archetype of the hero, right? We know what a hero is. If the hero is a man, he's big and strong and muscular and very handsome, right? The villain is always ugly and has a scar on his face and, yeah, not good. This is true, right? The good princess is always beautiful. The evil witch is always ugly. Why is that? Those are archetypes. So we can look at archetypes in character and apply it to a character analysis. Or we could talk about archetypical themes. For example, love, the Bildungsroman, the coming of age tale, or about growth, character growth. Those are all archetypical themes. Characterizations, like I said, the hero, the damsel in distress, the rescue, the quest, what's out there. How about a pattern in the work? Do we see death and rebirth, something like that? How can we apply this to our everyday life? The next one, cultural criticism. Cultural criticism is pretty close to political criticism, right? But a little bit less well defined. Cultural criticism, we want to talk about how different groups would feel about the text. Maybe different races, different nationalities, different ethnicities, different religions, something like that. Maybe different social groups. And we see how culturally would they read this text in a different way. Good. The next one, the reader responds. Again, we want to write about how a potential reader would respond to this text. We probably want to include one of the other frameworks as we do this. But in this case, we want to talk about the ideal reader, not you. So you wouldn't say, I respond, blah, 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 blah. You would say, the ideal reader would think that blah, 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 or this particular type of reader. It works well with cultural criticism, right? Korean people in general reading this story would think this, whereas American people would imagine it this way, blah, 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 blah. Good. Okay, deconstruction, the last one for today. Deconstruction works really well with a close reading where we choose a small passage and then we analyze the word choice to see how the word choice pushes the story either forward or maybe contrasts against the story. So deconstruction itself is a focus on the form of the text. It believes that the meaning is found in the form, that there is no ideal. And so by looking at specific word use or specific word order, collocation use, we can analyze the text by seeing what exactly he's trying to say and what that means. On top of this, there's plenty of other different ways that we can analyze the text, but we're already over 10 minutes on this video, so I'm not going to really get into too many of them. The key point is that you pick an idea, you think about it, you think about how it will analyze the text well, how it will work with you. And then, let's talk about it, make sure that it's going to work out okay, and we're going to have a great reading response, or a great textual analysis, aren't we? All right, that's it for today. Happy studying.